Jungkook sat in his lavish office, a sleek high-rise building that overlooked the sprawling city beneath. His black suit was perfectly tailored, fitting his broad shoulders and athletic build as though it had been made just for him. His sharp jawline and dark, almost brooding eyes only added to the cold aura that followed him whenever he went. He was young, one of the youngest CEOs in the business world, yet his reputation was solid. He had risen to the top of his company through determination and a mind that never stopped working. He had everything a man could want, except for one thing, her wine. She had worked as his secretary for nearly 2 years, and in all that time, Jungkook had never let his guard down. His feelings for her remained tightly locked inside. A secret he could never afford to share. She was his secretary, and in his word, that was a line that couldn't be crossed. But every glance, every interaction only deepened his feelings for her. Her soft voice, the way she smiled at him, even though he rarely returned the gesture, the way her eyes brightened whenever she helped him in solving a problem, it all affected him. Jungkook hated that she could affect him in ways no one else ever had. Today, like usual days, he was lost in his work, reviewing documents that needed his immediate attention. The hum of his computer, the sound of papers shuffling in his hands, and the occasional chime of his phone were the only interruptions in his quiet world. Suddenly, his phone buzzed. He looked at the screen. It was a message from his assistant, Minseok. Mr. John, Wine has taken the day off today. She mentioned something about a personal matter. I have already arranged for someone to take care of her duties. Jungkook's finger hovered over the screen, reading the message again. Personal matter. His heart skipped a beat, a pang of something bitter and foreign bubbling up inside him. Why would Wine take the day off? They had a meeting scheduled. She never skipped meetings, never took a day off unless it was absolutely necessary. And this personal matter, what did that mean? He set the phone down and stood up abruptly, his chair scraping against the floor as he walked towards the windows. The view of the city no longer looked as calming. His mind was racing. He had to know what was going on. Before he could make up his mind on what to do next, Minseok knocked on the door. He stepped inside with a look of concern on his face. Mr. Jeon, I overheard something that you might want to know. Wine's parents, they have set up a blind date for her today. A blind date? The word hit him like a punch to the stomach. His fist clenched as he turned towards Minseok. What do you mean? A blind date? Minseok was aware of Jungkook's feelings for Wine. By his actions, anyone can observe it, even though Jungkook never talked about it to anyone. But Minseok, as he spent most of the time with him, he has noticed it how his boss is different with Wine, how much he likes Wine secretly. When he overheard Wine's office friend's conversation about her blind date, he couldn't stop himself from telling Jungkook. Only he knows how his boss changed since Wine came to his life. He can notice his small, unnoticeable smiles. He doesn't want his boss to go back to his lonely workaholic world. Minseok hesitated before continuing. Yes, it seems like her parents are trying to introduce her to someone. It's a very important arrangement, according to what I heard. Jungkook's face turned a shade darker, his mind full of her thoughts he couldn't control. He felt a surge of jealousy and frustration rise within him, feelings he couldn't make sense of. Wine wasn't his. She wasn't his to feel jealous about, but the thought of another man Someone who wasn't him, spending time with her, even if just for a meal, ignited something deep within him. Is she meeting him now? Jungkook asked, his voice colder than usual. Minseok nodded. Yes, she left about an hour ago. I believe she's on her way to the restaurant now. Jungkook barely heard the last words as his thoughts clouded over. Without another word, he turned, walking quickly towards the door. Mr. Jeon, Minseok called, but Jungkook didn't answer. He didn't need to. He knew exactly what he was going to do. Vine sat across from her parents in their family home, fidgeting nervously with the silver bracelet on her wrist. It was a beautiful day outside, but nothing felt right. The thoughts of going on a blind date with someone her parents had chosen made her stomach twist. She had never expected them to take such a bold step in trying to find her a husband. Don't worry, sweetheart, her mother said, giving her a reassuring smile. He's a nice young man. He's a doctor, very successful. Vine didn't respond, her mind a whirlwind of thoughts. What she really wanted to do was go back to work. She wanted to be with her colleagues, especially Jungkook. She couldn't explain why, but she found comfort in his presence. Even when he is cold and distant, she always felt a strange warmth when he was near. Vine daughter, I think you should go now. You're already so late. He must be waiting for you. Yes, dear, I have already booked the cab for you. You should at least meet him. If you won't like him, we won't force you to move forward. Vine nodded. Vine was on her way to the restaurant, lost in her thoughts, thinking why she is feeling this way. It's not like she has a boyfriend, but still she doesn't wanna go to this date. And she is thinking about her boss. She knows very well she doesn't have any chance with him. He's such a high profile person. On top of that, he's a handsome young guy. He will definitely choose a girl similar to his status. Vine sighed. She shouldn't think about it. Her parents are right. There is no problem in seeing that guy. Her phone buzzed, breaking her thoughts. It was a call from Minho, her date. She picked and felt bad for making him wait for so long. She was supposed to go 1 hour before. Hi Vine, are you okay? I was looking for you. Vine sighed. Yes, I'm fine. I'm really sorry for making you worried. I will be there in 5 minutes. I'm on my way. It's okay. I was just worried. Call me after reaching. Vine nodded. Vine was stepping on stairs, all lost in her thoughts. Suddenly her whole body froze and mouth went wide open, seeing the person standing in front of her, none other than her boss, Jungkook. Jungkook stood there, his tall frame blocking the entrance as he looked at her, his face a mixture of anger and something she couldn't quite place. She froze, the air between them crackling with tension. Sir? Sir, what are you doing here? Vine asked, her voice laced with surprise. I could ask you the same thing. Jungkook growled, coming near her. His eyes were sharp, burning into hers with an intensity she wasn't used to. I can't believe you would go on a date with someone else. Vine's brows furrowed. Why I can't go on a date with someone? Don't act like you don't know, he snapped, his voice rising. You think I don't notice? I see the way you look at me, the way you... I have been trying to keep it under control, but you are making me go crazy, Vine. She stared at him, confusion flooding her mind. What are you saying? I am saying that I love you, Wine. His voice was sharp, harsh in delivery. I have loved you for so long, but I have kept it to myself because I thought you would never feel the same way. But you are here with someone else. I can't stand it. I can't stand the thought of losing you to someone who is not me. Wine's breath caught in her throat, her heart pounding as his words sank in. Love? Was he really saying that? I never knew, she whispered, her voice shaking. Jungkook, I thought why would you like a simple girl like me? Jungkook's face softened slightly, but the intensity didn't fade. You are very special to me, Wine. I don't want you to be with anyone else. Not now, not ever. There was a silence between them, the weight of his confession hanging in the air like an unspoken promise. Wine didn't know what to say or how to respond. She had always admired Jungkook from far, never allowing herself to believe he could feel the same. But now, with his confession out in the open, she found herself standing on the edge of something she never expected. Jungkook took a step closer to her, his voice softer now. Say that you will choose me, because I'm not letting you go, Wine. I really love you. I cannot imagine my life without you. Wine could see sincerity in his eyes. She stepped closer to him and hugged him. Yes, Jungkook, I will choose you because I have also feelings for you. A soft smile crept on his face and he hugged her even more tightly. Minho was watching them standing at a distance. He smiled and went back to restaurant.